You're the project manager, coordinator at Minerals Council, and you focus a lot on GBVF, and well, that's been like really prevalent in South Africa, and I want to know how that shows up in the mining industry. What are you seeing? And I guess, are we intolerant enough? Are we addressing it enough? And how do we make sure, I guess, I mean, it's one of those uncomfortable things to talk about, but we need to talk about it. We'd like the future of mining for us to not have this conversation 50 years from now.
Yeah, thanks for that question, Luto. I think we are at a point where, as you've said, gender-based violence and femicide is prevalent in the country. So it would not be right for us as a mining industry to think that we are a place or an environment that is immune to gender-based violence. And I think that's the narrative at which the mining industry is at as far as gender-based violence in the workplace is concerned right now. The narrative a couple of years back was that gender-based violence is a topic or a conversation that is an island and isolated, but then right now it is a conversation that is looking at the sustainability of the workplace. And I'm talking about sustainability in the sense that in all of the conversations that we've been having here, we've been talking about how we can make careers, the world of work, a better place, and how we can get more young people and more graduates and more women to come into the mining industry and into the working place. But are the workplaces a place that is safe? Is it a place where young people would say, okay, the mining industry is the industry of choice because I feel it is safe there. I feel that gender-based violence isn't necessarily something that would happen to me. So with that type of thinking, the mining industry is looking at gender-based violence as a sustainability threat to the industry first and foremost. And because of that, we're now looking at what is it that can be done to combat gender-based violence. And I would like to say, there's a lot of commendable things that the industry is doing from the Minerals Council point of view. There are the 7 foundational measures to achieve gender diversity and inclusion in the industry. And foundational measure 1 of those foundational measures is zero tolerance against gender-based violence. And it looks at how mining companies and operations can deal with gender-based violence at a level like from step to step. But then what is also important for us is how do we ensure that when gender-based violence happens, because it is a prevalent thing, it isn't something that is shamed upon the victim. We're trying to switch the shame from the victim to the perpetrator. There is also the recently passed gender-based violence guidance note in the management of child security challenges for women in the South African mining industry. And I think that is a win for South African women in mining because through that guidance note, it compels each and every mining house in South Africa to actually have a gender-based violence and femicide implementation plan. And we are actually in the month of February where the DMRE as well as the Mine Health and Safety Council are going to be going back to those member companies to check if each and every company has a gender-based violence plan in place and what does it look at and what are the initiatives that are there. I am leading one of the biggest, I would say, initiatives and collaboratives in the mining industry to combat gender-based violence beyond the mining borders. So we're in a partnership with the National Prosecuting Authority as well as the Presidential Fund, also known as the GBVF Response Fund, to build Thuthuzela care centers in mining host communities. Thuthuzela care centers being a one-stop house where a victim or a survivor of gender-based violence can literally get all the services and the aftercare. So we're in a project where we're building those Thuthuzela care centers in mining host communities to address gender-based violence within the mines and also in the host communities as well.
Just to close so that I open up for some questions, what would that one takeaway, what would be the one thing that you want students here to take away as the thing you need to do to future-proof your career?
Don't be shy. Nobody has ever eaten from being shy. Put yourself out there as if you are blowing your own horn. Use social media in the right way. I'm not saying don't gloat on Instagram, but LinkedIn is the platform for you. Change the narrative. Be in charge of the narrative. Speak of yourself as if you are the greatest thing that has ever walked on earth, and that is how the opportunity is able to do.